The eighth commandment safeguards everyone's right to legitimately acquire and own property. God wants that right honored and protected. You shall not steal. Exodus 20:15, the eighth commandment, which forbids theft, calls our attention to two opposite ways of thinking and living. An approach that emphasizes getting rather than giving wins all contests for popularity. But the giving approach epitomizes God's love for others. Theft is the ultimate assertion of the greedy, lustful way of life, one that emphasizes acquiring material and intangible things with no regard for the rights and feelings of others. It scorns conventions and boundaries established by society and God. It is the epitome of selfishness. The spiritual intent of the commandment against stealing tells us where the battle against selfishness begins. It originates when we learn to appreciate the rights and needs of others. Changing the heart of a thief? How does all of this relate directly to the command not to steal? Paul gives us the connection. Let him that stole steal no more, but rather let him labor, working with his hands the thing which is good, that he may have to give to him that needeth. Ephesians 4:28. A thief must go far beyond simply ceasing his larceny to please God. Someone once wisely observed, a thief who has quit stealing may still be a thief at heart, a thief just temporarily unemployed. He really ceases to be a thief only if and when he replaces stealing with giving. A thief has to change his heart and outlook. Other forms of stealing, directly taking another's possessions, is not the only way to steal. Con artists use sophisticated scams to swindle their victims. Deceptive advertisements do the same. Manufacturers who misleadingly advertise their products of substandard quality cheat their customers. Laborers who bill for more hours than they work or charge more than their services are worth are stealing from those who hire them. Then there are those who borrow but never return. Aren't they stealing? There are so many ways to take what is not ours that we must stay on our guard. We could be breaking God's commandment against stealing without realizing what we are doing. Employees who do not work, although paid to do so, are stealing from their employers. People who delight in consuming what others produce while refusing to carry their share of the labor and responsibility or their part in the production of goods and services engage in still another form of stealing. They siphon away what others produce, but make little or no contribution themselves. They take and give little in return. Notice Jesus Christ's parable of the person who refuses to assume personal responsibility. Then he, which had received the 1 talent, came and said, Lord, I knew you, that you are an hard man, reaping where you have not sown and gathering where you have not strawed. 25. And I was afraid and went and hid your talent in the earth. Lo, there you have that is thine. 26. His Lord answered and said unto him, You wicked and slothful servant, you knewest that I reap where I sowed not, and gather where I have not strawed. Matthew 25, 24, 26. The man in this parable knew that his job was to produce for his master, but because of his own distorted outlook, he willingly chose to be unproductive. He knew the rules and responsibilities placed on him. He had no excuse for his slack behavior. Jesus' parable continues, You oughtest therefore to have put my money to the exchangers, and then at my coming I should have received mine own with usury. 28. Take therefore the talent from him, and give it unto him which has 10 talents. Matthew 25, 27, 28. The man's employer called him wicked and lazy. At heart, he was no different from a thief. Therefore, his boss gave his reward to another who had worked hard to benefit someone besides himself. Jesus used this parable to illustrate God's low opinion of self-pity and selfishness. According to police and press reports, the world still needs this commandment. The varieties of thieves are almost endless, ranging from mere pickpockets and purse snatchers to men who steal widows' homes, children's education, banks, industries, and the good names of their friends. Facing all this dishonesty of men are these 4 words of God. You shall not steal. Image description. A vibrant and colorful illustration featuring 2 individuals standing on opposite sides of a scale. The scale is balanced in the middle, with various items placed on each side. On the left side of the scale, there are symbols representing stolen goods such as a wallet, a piece of jewelry, and a stack of money. On the right side, there are symbols representing honest labor and possessions such as a house, a book, and tools. Both individuals are depicted with expressions of concern and contemplation, symbolizing the ethical dilemma posed by stealing versus honest acquisition. In the background, there is a cityscape, representing the broader societal context in which theft occurs. The illustration in the text reads, "Thou shalt not steal," Exodus 20:15, emphasizing the biblical origin of the eighth commandment. This visual aims to convey the contrast between theft and honest acquisition, highlighting the ethical imperative of respecting others' property and labor. It encourages viewers to reflect on the moral implications of stealing and the importance of upholding principles of integrity and respect for others' belongings.